Everyone.
Morning.
So thank you for your time and opportunity for us, Group 1, to present our work about post-disasters response and recovery in Sumatra. So before we start, I would like to ask you guys a simple question. Do you guys think that the natural disaster happens in Sumatra is clearly natural? Well, Sumatra is one of the disaster-prone islands in Indonesia because it still has an active volcano or volcanic activity there. So because of that, it frequently experiences earthquakes, flood, landslides, and even tsunamis. So these frequent disasters really makes the people in Sumatra has lost their life, has lost their homes, and lost everything. So let's get back to the questions that I asked you guys earlier, that is it really natural or not? So at November 2025, the tropical cyclone Scania struck Sumatra. So it's clearly not, so maybe people might say that it's clearly natural disasters because at that time, clearly there is massive rainfalls that struck Sumatra and make the place there flooded by water and everything. But I would like to say it's not really natural. I have this data provided. It's annual primary forest loss in Sumatra by year and province from 2001 to 2024. As you can see, approximately from time to time, by year to 2001 to 2024, over 200,000 of forests has been deforestations in Sumatra, and 2017 has been the highest deforestations in Sumatra by 1 million forest loss. So clearly I would like to say that the disasters happens in Sumatra is not really natural because it has happened because of the human being. So let's go to the second one. It is data and facts. So our study uses a library method by reviewing official reports and scientific journal about post-disaster recovery in Sumatra. So we collected data from BNPB, BKR, Aceh Nias, World Bank, UAN, Walki, and national and international journals. So, and many more. Okay, so the finding was
Emergency response. Emergency response. Our first finding is that emergency response is very important in disaster management in Sumatra. It includes evacuation, medical care, emergency, shoulder, and logistic. For example, during the 2004 Aceh tsunami, this action helped save many lives. Distribution challenge. In the Aceh tsunami, 167,540 people died and over 500,000 people were displaced. Damaged roads, bridges, and ports. Good as delivery is so that good infrastructure is important during a disaster. Finding 2. Recovery progress. Such as in physical reconstruction, our second finding is about recovery after a disaster. After 2004 Aceh tsunami, the government and international donors provide $6.7 billion for recovery. More than 140,000 permanent houses were rebuilt. Next, inequalities and delays in recovery. However, recovery was not the sum for everyone. The disaster was $4.45 billion in economic losses, and about 67,500 people still live in temporary shelters. Next, a new metrics for disaster recovery. We saw that disaster recovery is not only about rebuilding house, but also about helping people return to a safe and normal life. Next.
Now I want to explain about these findings. Finding 3 shows that recovery in Sumatra is not only about rebuilding buildings, but also about long-term issues. First, economic recovery is slower than infrastructure rebuilding. Even though roads, houses, and facilities were rebuilt, many people still struggle to restore their income and livelihoods. Second, environmental problems are getting worse. As you can see in the chart, from 2016 to 2025, Sumatra lost about 1.4 million hectares of natural forest because of corporate concessions. This deforestation increases the risk of future disasters like floods and landslides. Third, recurring disasters continue to affect communities, making recovery more difficult and less stable over time. Next slide, please.
Okay, moving on to the next part. Let's look at the discussion section. First, about emergency response and infrastructure. The response team did a great job. The response and saved many lives through medical care and emergency shelters. Thanks to the government and global support, because they successfully rebuilt roads, schools, hospitals, and over 140,000 permanent houses. As a current example, after the recent heavy floods in Sumatra, the government is now quickly building temporary bridges to open access to isolated areas. But, however, we also face serious challenges. Second, we have uneven aid distribution. Aid is still not equal, especially in remote and rural areas, because damaged roads and bridges make delivery very slow. Even with a big budget of $6.7 billion for Aceh, yes, some places are still left behind. Third, there are long-term recovery gaps. Rebuilding physical houses is not enough. People still face long-term problems like trauma, mental health issues, and environmental damage. We can see this challenge in Sumatra right now. The danger is not over. Just today, the weather agency warned that heavy rain will trigger new landslides. This proves that long-term safety is still our biggest challenge. Next.
progress, especially in saving lives and rebuilding infrastructure quickly. However, there are still huge challenges, which is unequal distribution of aid, slow receiving in remote areas, economic difficulties, and environmental damage. But to improve future recovery, there are several things are needed. First, better coordination between institutions, then stronger environmental management, and the last one is more inclusive recovery. So all communities receive fair support.
Finally, here are the references for our research. We use official data from BNPB, BRR, the World Bank, and UN OCHA for disaster data. We also use environmental reports from WALHI, as well as national and international scientific journals to support our study.